Welcome to Defense Briefing. The content of the briefing includes Bridges, Medal of Honor recipient Macario Garcia. Police close the case of two friends murdered in Georgia despite families' pleas for answers. MLB insider makes haunting prediction about Cody Bellinger's landing spot. Kim Jong-un says he has lawful right to destroy South Korea. Asia equities mixed as U.S. shares climb, bonds fall, markets wrap. Bridges, Medal of Honor recipient Macario Garcia. Yahoo! Macario Garcia, a Mexican immigrant who fought for the U.S. in World War II, was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor in 1945 for his acts of bravery. After the war, he faced racial discrimination when he was beaten by the owner of a restaurant in Richmond, Texas for being Mexican. The charges against him were eventually dropped. Garcia went on to work for the Veterans Administration as a counselor and fought for civil rights. In 1972, he died following a car accident. Today, Garcia is widely honored and remembered for his service and bravery. Police close the case of two friends murdered in Georgia despite families' pleas for answers. Yahoo! An investigation into the mysterious shootings of two friends and a neighbor has been closed by the police in Georgia, U.S. The families of the two friends claimed that they were not informed about the decision to close the case, and criticized the investigation. The police department has made no further public comment on the case. The victims' families said that the motive behind the shootings was unclear. MLB insider makes haunting prediction about Cody Bellinger's landing spot. Yahoo! Free agent Cody Bellinger's high asking price of over $200 million is reportedly the reason for his ongoing free agency. ESPN's Jeff Passan believes the Toronto Blue Jays may need Bellinger more than the Chicago Cubs, as the team has made a couple of moves this offseason, but it's certainly not the kinds of moves that are gonna take you from a team that's on the cusp of playoff contention to one that's handily going to be in. However, Bellinger's asking price is likely to be a major roadblock for other teams as well, not just the Cubs. Kim Jong-un says he has lawful right to destroy South Korea. Bloomberg. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has declared that he has the legal right to destroy South Korea, following his decision to remove peaceful unification from North Korea's national policy. Kim labeled South Korea as the primary enemy and stated that it could be attacked and destroyed at any time. This comes after North Korea's parliament abolished laws for economic cooperation with South Korea and amid a series of provocations and threats by Kim's regime. The South Korean government believes that North Korea is attempting to raise its profile ahead of April elections for parliament. There is speculation that Kim's recent actions indicate a readiness for battle, although U.S. President Joe Biden has warned that a nuclear attack by North Korea would mean the end of Kim's regime. Putin says he's open to negotiating with U.S. over Ukraine war in lengthy Carlson interview. Yahoo! Russian President Vladimir Putin said he was open to negotiating with the U.S. over the war in Ukraine during a 2-hour interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, but the Russian leader also spent much of the time expounding on history and repeating talking points in an attempt to justify his actions in Ukraine. Watch, pod of killer whales trapped in drift ice off Japan coast. Yahoo! A pod of orcas was found trapped in sea ice off the coast of the town of Razu in Hokkaido, Japan earlier this week. A fisherman spotted the orcas and reported the sighting to town officials. Drone footage captured by a conservationist group showed about a dozen orcas, including a baby, bobbing up and down as they struggled to breathe while trapped in a narrow space enclosed by the ice. The orcas eventually freed themselves and disappeared. A similar incident occurred in the area in 2005, resulting in several orcas dying. Why Texas is banning banks over their ESG policies. Bloomberg. Texas passed 2 laws in 2021 that restrict government contracts with companies that take what state officials regard as punitive stances toward the fossil fuels and firearm industries. They're among the many new laws pushed by Republicans in states across the U.S. to oppose ESG investing and financing, which they've made into a culture war target. Under one of the laws, Texas has barred some state entities, including pensions, from investing in roughly 350 funds run by asset managers such as BlackRock Incorporated that the Texas Comptroller says engage in boycotts of fossil fuels. The legislation has also prompted state officials to prohibit Citigroup Incorporated and Barclays plc from helping the state and its local governments raise money for infrastructure projects through bond deals. U.S. bid to curb Iranian oil bedeviled by economic, election risks. Bloomberg. The Biden administration wants to tighten the screws on Iran's oil sales to neutralize its support for militants in the Middle East. But squeezing too hard risks inflicting higher prices on both a sluggish global economy and President Joe Biden's looming election rematch with Donald Trump. Friends of Leominster native victim in 2023 Las Vegas triple homicide want swift justice. Yahoo! Friends of Christopher Broussard, a Leominster maintenance worker who was killed in a triple homicide last year in Las Vegas, are asking for faster justice for the man charged with the killing. Broussard was murdered on June 27, 2023, while conducting a welfare check on 80-year-old Dina Vale after she had not been seen for several days. Broussard entered the building and was fatally stabbed, while his colleague, maintenance supervisor Horatio Carlin, was also struck with a weapon. Vale and her boyfriend had been killed days prior. Vale's grandson, Spencer McDonald, has been charged with 3 counts of murder. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite observer from the 6 Degrees world, Dr. Six. Today, we have quite a mix of news stories to discuss, so let's dive right in. First up, we have the inspiring story of Macario Garcia, a Mexican immigrant who fought for the U.S. in World War II and was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his bravery. Despite facing racial discrimination, Garcia went on to work for the Veterans Administration and fight for civil rights. His legacy lives on as a symbol of service and bravery. Next, we have a troubling case in Georgia where the police have closed the investigation into the mysterious shootings of 2 friends and a neighbor. The families of the victims are frustrated with the lack of answers and transparency from the police. It's unfortunate when justice is not served, and we can only hope that the truth will eventually come to light. In the world of sports, we have the ongoing saga of free agent Cody Bellinger and his high asking price of over $200 million. This hefty price tag seems to be a major roadblock for teams, including the Chicago Cubs. However, ESPN's Jeff Passan suggests that the Toronto Blue Jays may be in need of Bellinger's talents. It's a waiting game to see where Bellinger will land, but one thing's for sure, he won't come cheap. Moving on to international news, we have the alarming declaration from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who claims he has the lawful right to destroy South Korea. This comes after North Korea removed peaceful unification from its national policy and labeled South Korea as the primary enemy. Tensions are high in the region, and the South Korean government believes that Kim's recent actions are an attempt to raise his profile ahead of upcoming elections. Let's hope cooler heads prevail and peace can be maintained. In the world of finance, we see mixed trends in Asian stocks as U.S. shares reach a record high. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index is falling, while futures for Australia and Japan are holding steady or rising. It's a delicate balance as higher yields support the dollar but also lead to a sell-off in treasuries. The markets can be a roller coaster ride, so fasten your seatbelts. Switching gears, we have Russian President Vladimir Putin's 2-hour-long interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. Putin expressed openness to negotiating with the U.S. over the war in Ukraine, but also used the opportunity to justify his actions and delve into history. It's always interesting when world leaders take to the media to present their side of the story. On a lighter note, we have the heartwarming yet tense story of a pod of killer whales trapped in drift ice off the coast of Japan. A fisherman alerted officials, and drone footage captured the orcas struggling to breathe in the narrow space enclosed by the ice. Thankfully, they eventually freed themselves and disappeared. Let's hope these incredible creatures stay safe in their natural habitat. Lastly, we have a story from Texas, where the state has passed laws banning banks with certain ESG, environmental, social, and governance policies from receiving government contracts. The laws are part of a larger push by Republicans across the U.S. to oppose ESG investing and financing. It's a contentious issue that has turned into a culture war target, with potential implications for both the economy and political landscape. And there you have it, a roundup of the latest news from around the world. Now it's your turn, dear viewers. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any questions for me? Let the discussion begin. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.